The Mac Pro is apparently coming out this year, but what about Final Cut Pro X? Let's talk about it in today's video. Final Cut Pro X and Motion 5 came out 2 years ago, well actually over 2 years ago, in 2011, and from that time till now, we've seen some minor updates here and there, just adding a few features here and there, but no big updates. I use Final Cut Pro X for all my video editing stuff, and personally, I love Final Cut Pro X, and right now I am trying to learn Motion 5 for all visual effects and whatnot, but after using both of those for some time now, I'm starting to realize that things need to change. And after doing some research, things might be changing this year. Going back earlier this year to WWDC 2013, when the Mac Pro was first revealed, apparently also Final Cut Pro X was very quickly mentioned. At WWDC when Phil Schiller, hope I didn't just butcher his name, but when he announced the Mac Pro, he also quickly mentioned the Final Cut Pro team, and that the Final Cut Pro team will be working on a new version of Final Cut Pro X that will be compatible performance-wise and graphic-wise with the Mac Pro. And while this can mean a lot, or it can mean very little. It could mean exactly what he said, that Final Cut Pro just work and be very fast with the Mac Pro, and also we work perfectly on multiple displays at 4K resolution. Or they might add a lot of new features, which I kinda hope they do. Just looking at Final Cut Pro X and Motion 5, personally, I love the way they look. They look gorgeous. I can't really complain any way about the way they look. And how each program separately works, I love it. Especially with Final Cut Pro, I love the magnetic timeline. I know not everyone loves it, but personally it works perfect with my workflow. When it comes to Final Cut Pro X, of course Apple can add more transitions, more effects, and just add a few more features here and there, but personally for me, Final Cut Pro X, I don't really have much to complain about. But what about Motion 5? Motion 5 could really use a lot of work, and the first thing they could do is have Motion 5 link perfectly with Final Cut Pro. Kinda like Adobe with After Effects, that if I'm in Final Cut Pro, I wish I can just send a clip to Motion 5. I don't actually use any Adobe's products, so I don't know exactly if this is right, but I think in Adobe Premiere, if there's a clip you want to send to After Effects, you just right click on it and say send to After Effects, or click on the clip and click a button that goes to After Effects or something like that. Apple needs to do that. Sure, it's kind of copying, but who cares? It's something that needs to be done. Now, talking exactly about Motion 5, Motion 5 really is, well, for motion stuff like text effects, or just animations in general. I think Apple really needs to expand Motion 5 and add a lot more things to make it more of a compositor for visual effects. It definitely does have the potential, and I think Apple really needs to work on competing with Adobe software. Yes, Motion 5 looks perfect, and it works pretty great, but they need to add a lot more new features. I think Apple should add a built-in visual effects and sound effects library, so hey, I want to make an action video, I have all the essentials I need. I have all my muscle flashes, I have all my smoke effects, I have all my explosions, and it's everything I'll ever need. Motion could also use support for 3D objects, so right now if you want to add a 3D model of like a car into a video, in Motion 5 obviously, you need to get a third-party plugin, which really you shouldn't have to do. Apple should already have that built in. It would also be nice if Apple added a 3D library of like cars and buildings and just items around your house and just something. These libraries I mentioned of like visual effects and 3D elements and stuff don't have to be built into Motion right when you buy Motion, but it would be nice if it was at least an extra package you can buy with Motion. Because right now I do not see that with Motion 5 at all. And just a quick note that Apple could also merge Motion 5 and Final Cut Pro X together. They might do that later on, but I'm not sure. If we're going to be seeing any big changes, I think Apple's going to do that in Final Cut Pro 11, which, hey, maybe Apple will release Final Cut Pro 11 this year, so we're going to see big changes. But I think Apple's going to wait off for Final Cut Pro 11 and release that next year when Mac OS 11 comes out. So I don't think we're going to see Motion 6 coming out, because Motion and Final Cut Pro usually get updated together. So we're going to see Motion 6 when Final Cut 11 comes out, which probably will be next year. And in regards to the libraries I mentioned of tons of stock footage and 3D elements and stuff, I really do hope Apple wants to go that way, but I don't know if that's really their goal. I don't know if they want to be the next big visual effects artists in video production and stuff, but I hope they do. I really hope they do. So guys, I can dream, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any big updates to Final Cut Pro or Motion this year. We're going to have to wait to next year, and even next year, who knows what's going to come out. So guys, that's the video for today. Please leave all your comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you hate Final Cut Pro and don't use it? Do you just not video edit? So then I don't know why you would be watching this. Do you use Final Cut Pro and do you like it? Just leave all your comments down below. Also, like this video, subscribe, share, and my name is Eric. and I'm signing out.